I feel like the pineapple just overtakes.
Okay, so no to pineapples on pizzas.
Never.
Hello there, I'm Sam Sadhwani, and this is Speaking of Money, a GoTyme podcast where we have beautiful conversations with the brilliant minds of today. And today, we're joined by one of the founders of Jabronies, a New York-style pizza joint that's quickly gained popularity in the metro. Welcome, Blake Hlatky. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I don't know how credible I am to be here, but I
Well, we
think it
wouldn't
will
have
be
you
fun.
if you weren't credible. So
Okay.
congratulations on Jabronies.
Thank you.
First and foremost, what's the story behind the name Jabronies? It's very catchy and very cute. How did you come up with it?
A lot of people think that we got it from The Rock, because I guess when
Okay.
The Rock was wrestling, he used to say it a lot. But I actually,
Oh, did he? He
yeah,
would say Jabronies.
yeah, he would always say, what is it? He would say, "Shut your mouth, you jabroni," or something
Okay,
like that.
that's cute.
And I didn't know about that. When we would all be talking, we would always call each other jabronis. And when you think of New York pizza, you think of places like Joe's and John's,
Mm-hmm.
Luigi's, and none of our names really worked for that. So we just decided to do jabronis.
So I know this was born because you love New York style pizza and you grew up in the US. Tell me more about it. How did this come about?
I grew up in New Jersey, and then two of my other partners, Emilio and Luis, they went to school in New York.
And they're foodies as well.
Yeah, so we're all definitely foodies.
Okay.
And one thing that we all had in common was pizza. We would always message when there's a new pizza place that would come out. Have you tried this? What do you think of this? And we do like other pizza places around here, but I think that we just never found something that brought us back to New York style pizza. And then one day during the pandemic, we kind of looked around and we said, why don't we just try to do it? And that's what we did.
So out of boredom in the pandemic, you were like, why don't we try to make a pizza that's like New York style?
Yes.
So what would you say makes a true New York style pizza?
Well, it should be big, at least 16 inches. The undercarriage should be brown, borderline burnt. A lot of people actually say our pizza's burnt, but
I do love burnt pizza
exactly. I think that it just gives it a better flavor than when it's almost palish.
Right.
And then it should be crispy, but not stale. And it should also hold up when you hold it so that there's no kind of flop.
though. Okay. How did you make sure that Jabroni stayed authentic to what a New York style pizza is?
It was very hard because, at least where I'm from, everyone always says that it's all about the water, right? Like New Jersey, New York, there's something in the water that makes great bagels, great pizzas.
That's very vague. That's hard to replicate.
Yeah. So I was like, shoot, like, do we have to start shipping in water? Like, what do we have to do?
Yeah.
And then I took a deep dive in the internet. I was in like pizza making forums, looking at all these recipes. And I mean, it was just trial and error until
Yeah.
we did it. I think before we first launched for delivery, we tried at least over 150 doughs, maybe.
Wow, 150 doughs. That's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah, a lot of people see that, we've been around for a year, but there's been a lot more that's gone into it before that. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long did it take for that 150 pizzas before you were like, let's try selling it?
I think it was a year and a half.
Oh, wow.
year and
So
a half.
it took a lot of R&D,
A
basically.
lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were lucky enough that Justin's dad during the pandemic got hooked on making pizza. So he had a pizza oven, he had peels, he had flours that we can use. And from there, from his base recipes, he was really into Neapolitan.
Yeah.
We kind of went from there and just kept going and going.
Yeah, I
And
imagine you need the right kind of equipment too to be able to do this.
yes. Well, in the beginning, we didn't. We thought that we could just do any equipment, any oven. And fast, we learned that we need real equipment.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you invested a lot into equipment.
Well, not up front. So the one thing with Jabroni is that we all try and keep in mind is that we want to operate as lean as possible. We were very fortunate enough that Justin's dad actually had a big commercial oven because his brother
Oh, wow.
used to
Okay.
sell cochinillo during the pandemic as
Oh,
well.
interesting.
Yeah, so it
A
just
lot of
worked.
those pandemic foodies coming out. Yeah.
So his brother used to use this big deck oven, which is really what people use in New York. His dad was really into pizza, so he had the pizza stones already. And the cost to make a pizza really isn't that bad. It's
Okay.
just flour and water.
Right.
So we were able to use that as a starting point. And then eventually we started out of Emilio's garage. And I think from that point that we started from his garage, we were very diligent on when we would spend and what we would spend on.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about the water, but I don't want to reveal the secret of
Sure,
Jabronies. So, oh, I can.
Yeah, you can. But
So what did you figure out?
well, I figured out that has nothing to do with the water.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. It has nothing.
I don't think it's a complete myth because New York, I believe, their tap water is it has higher minerals.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's something with the absorption of the flour to
Okay.
that kind of water.
Interesting.
But I don't think that it
So it's a
makes
little technical also.
Yes.
If you could serve pizza to any celebrity or famous New Yorker, who would it be and why?
I think if it had to be anyone, it would have to be Dave Portnoy. I'm not sure. Do you know Dave Portnoy?
No, I'm not familiar.
Okay, so he's the founder of Barstool.
Okay.
And he basically goes around and reviews all these pizza places all around the world, especially New York. And he gives them like an 8.3, a 4.2 or whatever. And it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And a lot of places now kind of wish for him to go there because it's been said that if he goes to a place and gives it above an 8, let's say, that there will be lines throughout the door.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So for
Wow.
us, it would be a true honor for him to really rate our pizza.
And that's good. You're confident enough in your pizza to have him over.
Oh, I'm very confident. I'm very confident. I would say that if Portnoy was to try our pizza, he'd give it maybe bare minimum an 8.3, which is high
8.3.
for his standards.
Wow. Okay. His lowest is like a 0.
Yes, he's given.
He's given out zeros. Oh my gosh, intimidating.
Yeah.
What's the most unusual pizza topping you've tried or considered adding to the menu in Jabronies?
I don't think there's anything unusual we've considered adding. We want to keep it really traditional. That's why all of our pizzas are pretty simple. The only ones that are a bit crazy are our own creations, but even those, the ingredients are very simple. We use onions, peppers, sausage,
Right.
pepperoni. But other than that, we haven't really played with the idea of unusual toppings. But for me, I would say by far the most unusual thing I've eaten on pizza is a pineapple.
Yeah, I was going to ask because there's a lot of debate on this, about this. How do you feel about pineapples on pizzas?
I don't think that they belong there. I think a lot of that comes from where I grew up because I had a lot of Italian friends and they're like, no way, pineapples.
Yeah.
And
But
then-
Filipinos love it.
Exactly. So once I moved back here, I was like, you know what, let me try this.
Yeah,
And I can't
and
do
no,
it.
you
I
can't do it.
I get like why people want the sweetness, but I think you can get it in a better way. Like there's hot honey or make the sauce a bit sweeter.
Right.
But I feel like the pineapple just overtakes.
Okay, so no to pineapples on pizzas.
Never.
So you talked about how you started the pizza joint and it wasn't an easy feat. What were some of the biggest financial challenges you faced when launching Jabronies?
There's a big difference from when we first launched out of Amelia's garage,
Right.
Compared to when we actually put up a physical store.
Mm-hmm.
So luckily enough, when we launched just for delivery, the finance-wise, it wasn't so bad. But at that time, we were also doing a lot of work.
I'm sure.
It was during the pandemic. No one had to go to work, so all 4 of us almost every day would be helping out with dough or sauces, and then
So all 4 of you were really hands-on.
Yes, in the beginning. We hired a few people that we really trust, and without them, we wouldn't be there. Like our head chef, Ria, and then our other head chef, Jeng. So they really helped us out through like the darkest times. But yeah, and during that time, financially, I don't think there was much of a problem. We didn't seek investment from anyone. We kind of bootstrapped it ourselves. It was
Okay.
pretty minimal in the beginning. And then from there until Rockwell, I think that we just did a really good job of planning and budgeting so that we were ready whenever we needed to take that
How
next
did you
step.
do that? Did you just sit down all together and decide how you're going to transfer? You opened in Rockwell firsthand, how you would go about it. How did it happen?
Rockwell is really, I would say, the biggest blessing for Jabronies. The way it worked is that we started with just deliveries and we were doing pop-ups. We had a pop-up in Power Plant one day, and
Okay.
I guess someone from the leasing office went down and had Jabronies. Next thing we know, we had a meeting with Rockwell. During this time, we're all looking around spaces in Salcedo, BGC, blah,
Right,
blah.
right.
And we're like, what are we going to do? Like, this is expensive, right? So we didn't know what to expect from Power Plant. Luckily, they were able to offer us a pop-up space.
Okay.
So that space that we're in now was actually just a pop-up, and they used that to test whether or not we would be able to work there. Because of that, they didn't actually charge us rent.
Right.
So that was a big thing. They
Okay,
just
so
took
for
a-
pop-ups, they don't charge rent.
Yes, but they
Interesting.
do ask for a percentage.
And that's a good way to dip your toes into
Yes.
seeing if it works.
Yes, it was really worked out perfect for us because when we went into power plant, we had no idea what to expect.
Right.
We didn't go in thinking we're gonna make a lot of money. We're gonna expand to 5 more stores, 10 more stores. We really went in and said, let's just use this as marketing. Let's see how it goes, and if we make money, great. If not, then it's also okay.
But prior to that, was there a long-term plan to already open several branches? There was.
Yeah. So the plan was really always to open several branches. We really want to open maybe like 100.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the plan. But
Well,
I think
yeah, you should.
yeah, hopefully.
Look long-term.
Yes,
yeah.
yeah. So that's the eventual goal. But I think we've always toyed around with the idea of how to get there.
Right.
Even now, we always talk about how do we get to that point. I remember before Rockwell, we said that there's no way we wanted to start out in a mall, right?
Yeah.
We said that we want to have our own thing because then there's no percentage of sales that we lose. However, once we hit power plant and in Rockwell, we realized shortly that the slice shop concept really works in the malls. So I think now that's really where we want to focus is
Okay.
opening.
But now you're formally open in Rockwell, is that correct?
Yes. Well, in the process of being formally. There's a lot of documents and back-end things.
Right,
but
right.
yes, they did offer us a permanent space.
So what factors did you consider when deciding to get a permanent space? Because now you'll have to pay rent, is that correct?
From when we opened in Rockwell, we saw a drastic increase in sales, right? A lot of foot traffic. We really benefit highly from foot traffic. So because of that, we said, okay, maybe this will die down. And eventually, it never did.
Yeah,
right?
because usually the first few months there's a lot of hype, and
Yes.
it's after that that you see if it's really going to work.
Yeah, so I think the 4 of us and everyone a part of Jabronies, we've been waiting for that dip. And luckily, not yet, it hasn't happened. So because of that, we were just really smart with our money because we knew that in our heads, we were thinking they're not going to give us this as a permanent space. We're going to need to look elsewhere. So in the meantime, we've been looking in other spaces, and we were prepared to pay whatever amount it was to open another space. So when Rockwell asked us to be permanent, it was basically a no-brainer.
Well, Jabronies has gained quite a following since you worked in Emilio's garage still.
Yeah.
But I can imagine that maintaining the quality as opposed to the quantity now must have been hard. How did you balance that?
I guess maybe a lot of people or no one knows this, but our dough actually has changed a lot since
Oh,
the very
really?
first time that we did it for delivery.
Okay.
Like for instance, I remember the week before we opened in Rockwell, the 4 of us, Ria and our other chef, it was Holy Week, so everyone was off, so we didn't have anyone to make dough. But I really wanted to put in this new dough in Rockwell, and we all went in and did it together. So I think with quality, it's something that we always talk about. We talk about 3 things mostly: consistency, quality, and expansion. Those are our mainstays in every single meeting that we have. I guess mostly that kind of falls on me with the quality because I'm the one that's supposed, quote unquote, in charge of the food.
Okay.
So for me, it's really all about training, hiring the right people, and
Right.
just consistently always trying to improve. I think that we're lucky enough that a lot of the people that we've hired have helped out a lot. And as long as they're there and as long as we keep trying to make things more efficient, I think the quality will be okay.
How do you balance your roles? You said you're in charge of food. They always say don't work with friends, but it's managed to work for you guys. So how
Yeah.
do you balance your different roles?
Well, we kind of went to everyone's strengths, really.
Okay.
So I was the one that really got hooked on the dough and the pizza. So that was really just fell into my lap. And then I also help out with the branding and a little bit of the marketing. Emilio has his other business, the shirataki rice.
Yes, I've
so
heard
he's
about
very
that.
well versed in operations, logistics, and those kinds of things. So he's more in charge of operations. Justin is very financially savvy. So
Okay.
he takes care of our finances, makes sure everything is good in the bank. And then Luis has worked with his family, so he knows a lot on managing employees. So he's been a massive help in HR. And he's also been able to connect us with a lot of suppliers for purchasing.
So you mentioned Justin is in charge of finances.
Yes.
Do you guys plan your finances day to day? How does the operations work?
Well, it's all done internally. I wouldn't say that like every day we're talking about what are we gonna do, what are we
Right.
gonna do. But when it comes to money, every single time we think about spending money or money coming in, we look at kind of the risk and reward to each expense that we have.
Right.
Whether it's like a brand new oven or even an onion, right? Like we always look at, is it worth it? Is the price worth it? And it's really just a long-term look on, will we see a good ROI from this?
Right. Do you have a specific approach to budgeting?
I wouldn't say that there's any specific approach. I wouldn't say there's anything super specific. If there's, because even us, we make mistakes, right?
Of course.
There'll be things that we'll see and we'll be like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
We need it. Then we buy it and then we realize, wait, we didn't need that.
I mean, like you said earlier, it's a lot of trial and error at the end
Yeah.
of the day.
Yeah.
Looking back, is there a financial decision that you've made early on that you wish you approached differently?
Luckily, we were very diligent from the very start with our money. We didn't want to go out
That's
and
good to hear.
spend willy-nilly. If there's anything, though, maybe if we utilize credit earlier, if we
Okay.
set up credit lines with suppliers or credit lines just to spend money. But honestly, other than that, I don't think that there's much that I regret.
That's good advice for people wanting to start a business. You would recommend utilizing credit.
Yes, I would. If you do a full analysis on when you'll be able to pay it back, if it would be worth it in the long term, does whatever it is that you're buying actually benefit the business and help you to grow,
Right.
then yes, for sure. But I think that though all of that needs to be taken into account.
Whenever anyone's starting a business, you always look for inspiration in terms of business models. Who were your inspirations when starting Jabronies?
It's changed over time. So when we started, I looked up to people like L'Industrie Pizza in New York or these pizziolos that make pizza. I really looked up to them because I was like, I want to make the best pizza.
Right.
Now I think we look at business models of more big corporations.
Okay,
Like,
interesting.
For instance, now we like to look at businesses like McDonald's or Jollibee, right? Because if we can take something, anything, however small it may be from them and apply it to us, then it can only help us scale at a
Right.
more...
Down the line, do you want to have it franchised out as well? Is that a goal?
Yes, that is definitely a goal. It's even hard for us now to say no. It's just that we don't know the exact setup of it all.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely a goal of ours.
So what's next for Jabronies? We're talking long term, but how about short term? Are there any exciting new plans or expansions on the horizon?
We'll be having 2 new locations. One in Melito in the south and one in Santolan in the north. Both of those locations will also have alcohol for people to come and hang out, drink. We want to make it more of, we really want to cater to the dine-in community because I feel like Jabronies right now, if you go to Rockwell sometimes, you're waiting 20
lot of
minutes in
takeout,
line
right.
and you won't even get a seat. So you really want to create an environment where people can come, enjoy, hang out. And I think that we'll be adding some more menu items. I won't say what they are.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, keep on the lookout. It'll be good.
What made you decide on these 2 new locations? What were the factors you considered?
Well, because we're doing well in Power Plant, Rockwell was able to offer us in Santolan, Town Plaza.
Okay.
So that was kind of a no-brainer. They helped us out, so much with Power
Right.
Plant that we were
Right.
like, yeah, let's do it, right? And then with Melito, well, I'm from Alabang. And, but strategically wise, it's because right now Rockwell is in Makati, right?
Yeah.
If we want to do delivery, we cannot reach Alabang.
Alabang, yeah.
We can't reach QC.
Right.
So we're hoping that if we open in Melito and we open in Santolan, that all of Metro Manila hopefully will be covered. We don't know if that's the case. Maybe we'll need to open a couple more branches. We'll see. But that's kind of our thought process. We also want to use this as a test and a learning experience because everything's like we've
Of course,
mentioned,
right.
trial and error and learning from everything. We want to see if we can really capture a dine-in community, right?
So are you thinking about bringing in new investors too? And what qualities are you looking for in potential investors to ensure that they're aligned with your brand values?
We're definitely open to it. I think we've definitely explored the possibility. But I think for us, it really just depends on the right time and the right place. It also highly depends on talking to the investors, how we feel about them, if we
Right.
trust them, if we think that they would actually benefit our business.
You mentioned you want to open 100 branches down the line. But if you could open in any city in the world, where would it be?
Has to be New York, right? We make New York pizza.
Right.
Why not test it out and see if we can hang with all the guys
big
out there?
dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
What does success for you look like for Jabronies?
I don't think that there's really any quote unquote like perfect story of success for us. I think from the start we've been lucky enough to just see success after success. For me personally, it's really to make the best pizza possible. I think that one day, if I ever come to the point where I say that pizza is perfect, then that would be success. I don't think that will ever happen. I think I'll always think we can do better, we can do this,
Yeah.
but maybe something like that.
What has been the most rewarding part of the journey so far for you?
There's been a lot. I mean, I know how much effort the four of us have put into it, but I've also seen all the effort that all of our employees along the way have. So I think that getting to the point of Rockwell, once we launched Rockwell, is just so rewarding because you could see it on all of our employees' faces, like they're doing it right. Like I can confidently say that I don't need to be in Rockwell to like baby them through the process anymore.
Right.
So that's very rewarding, and as well as customers, right? Because it's one thing for the four of us to sit around and say, this pizza is so good.
Yeah.
But when I'm in power plant and I see somebody try our pizza for the first time and they give you one of those like nods, yeah, that's
I can
really
imagine how
rewarding.
heartwarming that is
Yeah.
for all four of you.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs who are passionate about starting a business like you?
I would say just do it, really. I truly believe that. I think that, especially if you're young, like we're young, right? I'm 25, the rest of them are 26, 27, but we're still relatively young.
No, you're definitely young.
Yeah.
And you've accomplished so much already.
Yeah, I would say if you're young and you're really passionate about it, I mean, you have nothing to lose, right? You can always go back and, let's say, finish whatever degree you finished in, or let's say if you didn't even finish a degree, you can go back to school, you can go get a job, right? But when you're young, if you're really passionate about something and you have the means to do it, or you can find a way to make it happen, I think that there's nothing that can stop you. But I think most importantly, you have to be ready to work. Because everyone talks about how they want to be well off, right? They want to be rich. But I don't think everyone understands the work, really. And it gets real very fast. It gets
Right.
real very fast. And as long as you're committed to it, then I don't see anything stopping anyone.
That's really good advice. Thank you for that. So really quickly, let's play a quick game.
Okay.
It's called This or That. So first thing that comes to your mind, you choose.
Okay.
Fast food or fine dining?
Fast food. Easy.
Well, I would think so. Pizza.
Yeah, pizza, McDonald's, Jollibee, all of that. Yeah.
Italy or New York?
New York, for sure.
New York. Splurge or save?
Oh, I can shout out GoTyme here. I would normally say save, but GoTyme allows me to earn points while I spend on the debit card. And then they work all around the world. So there's no fees if I swipe, if I withdraw, there's no fees. So maybe you should start splurging a little, at least if you have GoTyme.
Like live a little,
Yeah,
right?
live a little. Oh, but if you want to save with GoTyme, it's pretty good too. They have great rates.
Yeah, go save. Never full or never hungry?
What means that I'm always eating? Never full.
Never
Never
full.
full.
Never full. So you're always eating.
Oh my gosh. I swear I think I can eat more than anyone I've ever met. I did do you know Al Dente in BGC?
No.
So it's a pasta place. They had a pasta challenge. It was
All you can eat pasta?
so it was 800 grams of fresh pasta.
Oh my
I swear
gosh.
the plate was maybe like half the size of this. Yeah.
And you finished it
in 30 minutes. Yeah.
in 30 minutes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And you're so skinny for someone who eats as much.
Well, that's debatable. But
It's
thank
debatable.
you. Thank you.
Be the smartest person in the room or the most creative?
I wouldn't per se want to be in a room where I'm not the smartest or where I'm the most creative. I would always want to be with people that are better than me, and hopefully I can learn from them.
Right.
But if I had to pick, probably the smartest.
The smartest. So we always end with this question with our guests. What is your one-liner money motto that you believe everyone should live by?
I would say most importantly, maybe don't chase the money. Don't fall in love with the money. That's something that's helped me a lot. Personally, I tell myself that, God will always provide and he'll take care of everything. But I think that's very important that you don't fall in love with the aspect of earning money or making money.
Very
That
true.
You more so fall in love with the grind, fall in love with the process. And as long as you're willing to put in the work, you love what you do, I think it'll just come.
And that shows. Thank you
Yeah,
so much,
thank you.
Blake. Thank you for joining us here at Speaking of money. Tune in again next time for more beautiful conversations and inspiring insights with the successful people of today. To never miss an episode, click subscribe and hit that notification bell.